Hey you. Yeah, you. Smile. Hi friend, you're listening to Marysaystosmile, the podcast I hope you get something out of. Whether it's a smile, laugh, or learning something about whatever it is we're talking about. Hi everybody, it's your girl Mary, and today I am joined by...
Kuuhiapo.
Oh snap!
Hey.
I feel like everyone that knows me knows that like Sally, Sharyse, and Zoe are part of like just my internal squad. So you're the first actual like, not outsider, but like different guest from like outside of my close circle. Like, wow, we're actually getting guests on this thing.
I'm honored, honestly. I'm so honored.
Yes.
Yeah. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I am doing really well. Just, trying to get through life during this quarantine period, pandemic, of course,
Amen.
Just trying to adult. That's another thing,
okay.
Right?
Yes. I have guy friends. We have a guy on the podcast that's not my blood-related brother.
Yes, sir.
Yes. No, but seriously, I forget who I was talking to, but I was like, I have like no guy friends. Like, who am I going to ask to be on the podcast that's going to give me like, not male insight, but it's like a dude, you know?
Yeah.
So if I don't make any more guy friends, Hiapo, maybe you're going to be like my token guy friend that is just going to be on like once a month or something.
I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah?
Get me on this. Yeah.
Okay, so everyone heard it. He said he's down. If he ever backs out, we're going to play this part.
Oh, goodness.
So Hiapo,
Yes.
how did we meet?
Wow. History. Okay, so I think it was 2017?
Something like that.
2017, we were doing a play.
A musical with song.
Musical and song and dance.
And dance.
It was For Such a Time as This. It was like a community show.
Yes.
So it was me, and then of course you and your squad. So
squad. Sarah, Sharyse, and Kiala. Shout out to the sissies.
Yes, sir. We all came in at the same time. I was brought in.
Did.
Yeah, I was brought in as an actor. And you guys, a singer,
dancer, everything, triple threat. Say what?
Well, hello. And then you guys were brought in as ensemble and as dancers as well. So I think it was new for all of us. Like I remember the first rehearsal, we were just standing there and we were like, what are we doing?
Is someone gonna tell us like where to go? Because we'll just sit back here and snack all day.
Right. I mean, I think for me, like I've been in theater,
right?
So I kind of know how things run, you know? But I think at that time, because it was a show that I was asked to be in, like how you guys were as well, and I didn't know anything about it. I wasn't prepared for it. It was just kind of a weird transition, right?
Yeah.
And how was your experience with that?
So me and Sarah have also done a few shows and plays and everything. Well, actually, the four of us came out of doing a musical right after that. And then, so we kind of knew, but because we've never worked with these people before, we were just like, we don't know how you're going to run things, what's going to happen.
Right, yes.
So we'll just chill and wait to be like, girls, assemble.
Right.
Which is kind of what happened. But it was really nice to just see like everything, like the rehearsals going on, everything, and then meet everyone.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
I think meeting you guys, I mean, it was a weird process because
people were dropping out left and right, bringing new people in.
Right. And I'm pretty happy that you guys stayed for the long run. Definitely.
Yeah.
From four of you, I knew Kiala only because we went to school together.
Right.
And so when I don't think we actually talked during rehearsal until dress rehearsals, actually. Like I remember because I remember, of course, you were like the most friendliest.
I try. She just speaks a lot.
Right. And then Sharyse and Sarah were kind of like, just very quiet. And Kiala knew me, of course, she talked to me. But I remember the first time we talked, we were in our first dress rehearsal. And I think like we all mutually wanted to be friends. Yes. But I think we just didn't know how to go with it.
Right.
So I think I remember you coming up to me specifically. You're like, hi, you don't know me. I'm Mary. Let's be friends. And I was like, thank you for coming to me. I just didn't know how to come up to you guys. I was only talking to Kiala this whole time. But and I think from there, we just made...
Like, okay, we're comfortable. We're friends now. We've established contact.
Right. I mean, yes. I think it's weird because for my extroverted friends, like, I love that, like, they take initiative. And
Right.
And it's harder for us introverts to take initiative. Not saying that we don't. Like, if we are put into the situation, we will become extroverted.
We'll do it.
But it just takes so much out of us.
Right.
And so the fact that you came up to me, I'm like, thank God I don't have to like initiate and just become overly friendly enough. So I think from there on, like we just became friends, and
now we're here. Doing a podcast episode.
How many years has it been? 5.
Okay, when you said that, I couldn't believe it because it felt like maybe 2 years ago.
Right, but
like, it's 2021.
Right. I mean, I think after the play, like we kind of like went our separate ways. I was definitely a lot more close with like Sharyse and Sarah, and you were still my friend as well. But like we were busy. We were both doing like our path has not really.
Yeah. Hiapo was just a young boy, and Mary's just an old woman, grandma, lady thing.
Yeah. How did you like perceive me before you came to talk to me?
Okay, no. So seriously, I remember when I first met you because I was like, here's playing that James Arthur song whilst playing piano. And I dead ass, like I turned to Kyal and I was like, oh, I love that song. She was like, yeah, Hiapo's playing it with the piano. I was like singing along. Like you were like in a corner, like people were watching it. Mary's in the corner, like, I met you in the dark. And I was like going ham.
That's so weird because I don't play piano.
Sis, but you did.
Was I playing piano? I think
Sis,
it was.
You did.
Might have been Makoa. Hi, Makoa.
No. Hiapo, you were literally like da da da. Like you only knew a section, but you did it.
Oh wait, yeah, I think I remember that.
No.
Yeah, it was like one finger. It was like
stop. Yeah. But then also like when Kea, the choreographer for the show, was teaching us dance sequences, I was like, wait a second. This guy knows what he's doing, and he sings, and he acts.
Yeah.
I hate the young generation for being so freaking talented. Yeah. That was my first impression. Fun fact.
So that was your first impression of me doing my thing, but how about like me as like my personality?
You were really friendly because you kind of knew more of the cast, and you knew the mains. You knew Tennille and Makoa.
Right.
So I was like, wow, he's so cool. He knows what's up. We're going to be friends. But yes. Okay, wait. That was a lot. So today's topic is kind of interesting.
Okay.
We both have a low-key performing arts background. Like we just talked about how we met and everything.
Yes, sir.
And I graduated college. You are kind of about to graduate college.
It's so crazy to say that. Oh my
Honestly,
gosh.
Right? So the other day you posted on Instagram, or like a couple weeks ago, what was your post again?
I post something on my story for my close friends because I didn't want it to get out. That's why about the idea of like STEM classes or STEM majors versus social and performing arts majors, and like how a lot of us who are social or performing arts major feel inadequate sometimes because we have our friends who are STEM, who are doing nursing, physics, computer science, who are doing all these just amazing,
cool
adulting, like calculus kind of stuff.
Oh, he said calculus, physics,
chemistry of all things.
Right.
And it puts you in this I guess uncomfortable state, like you're not doing enough for your future.
It puts you kind of in like a bad mindset because I feel like we're constantly comparing ourselves, and sometimes even people do it as well. Like there is an instance where we met a friend's family member, and she was like, "What do all of you do?" And we were like, I was like, "I'm a communications major."
Right.
Sharyse was like, "I'm a performing arts major."
Right.
And then our friend was like, "I'm an astrology Astrology.
Right.
I'm an astronomy major. Like she's gonna be a telescope operator and everything. Shout out to Sally. Chee. But she was like, wow, I mean, you girls are doing great, but wow, you're working with the telescope, you're doing all that stuff. Wow. And then I was just like, that's cool. All right then, and I totally agree. Like also coming from an Asian background, like a lot of my friends are going the nursing route. I have pharmacy friends. I have people that are pre-medical, gonna be doctors and everything. And you just kind of feel like, I talk good.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I totally feel that. I mean, initially when I went to college, excuse me, the first time, I was a Hawaiian studies / communication major.
Okay.
And the thing is, there was this expectation for me when I was in Hawaii immersion school, even when I was in Kamehameha and all, everybody just associated with me with Hawaiian culture and language and being an activist and all.
Mr. Aloha.
Mr. Aloha, basically. And I took that to heart, kind of thing. It's like, okay, people expect me to do that, and and people expect me to become a Hawaiian professor.
Oh.
So, and like I love Hawaiian. That's my identity. That's where I've been raised, and that's why I'm the way I am. So I took those 2 majors in, and I think after a while, I just realized, like I can still be Hawaiian. I can still learn Hawaiian and not have a degree in it.
Yes.
And that's a whole nother conversation about being a Hawaiian and being educated and feeling like you have to go to college for Hawaiian studies to be Hawaiian, or to be very adequate in the knowledge and the kind of stuff.
Right.
And I feel like I don't know everything about Hawaiian culture and language, but I know enough I can say proudly that I'm a Hawaiian.
Period.
And that I can stand on my own 2 feet and tell you my genealogy and can speak Hawaiian. Even if I couldn't speak Hawaiian, at least I'm connected to my land.
Yes.
Which is the very important part. So, but I think through that, college is a time where we find yourself.
Oh, yes.
Find ourselves. And
find yourself.
A part of finding yourself is educational-wise and career-wise. And I had a rough patch around my second year of college, and I switched my majors 4 times.
Stop.
Yes. Well,
I did not know that.
Yeah, so I was I think, if I remember correctly, Hawaiian and communication major at my freshman year, and then sophomore year I changed it 4 times. I dropped communication to a minor.
Okay.
And I was happy. And so I brought it back up, and then I had 2 majors, and then I brought up like a minor. It was weird because I was putting one down and then bringing it up and then putting the other one down and as a minor.
Right.
It was a weird thing. And then I remember like the last time I changed it before where I am now, I was a communication major with a business administration minor and a Hawaiian language certificate.
Okay.
And I thought it was doable. And I was ready. I was there. And then I looked at my pathway and it said that I would graduate in 2025.
Oh.
And I was like, do I really want to graduate with all of these at that time?
Right.
So, I had to do a lot of like researching and what I really want to do. Like for me, like, there was a period where I just wanted to like just give up everything and go to the mainland and and pursue theater.
Yes.
Yeah. And people told me like, why don't you pursue anything theater? And I love theater, but I don't. There's always this imposter syndrome that I go through, and I feel like for Hawaii, people tell me I'm good, but I know I need to do more. I need to push myself more to get there. To be successful. And what does successful mean really depends on the person. For me, is to get on Broadway, of course.
Period.
Yeah, but I was asking myself like, I love theater, but do I really want to
drop everything?
Do I really want to put my heart and soul into theater?
Right.
What will my future be like? So like there was all these thoughts coming in, and obviously the thoughts of my parents. My dad is Hawaiian, and my mother is Filipino, and so there's these 2 forces behind me who are like my foundation, but they're telling me like, get a good education, get a good job, support yourself. And I totally agree with that, definitely. But I also agree that, you shouldn't go into something that you don't love, or not, if not even love, but you're not passionate about, or even if you're not passionate at that time, you can make a good influence into the world kind of thing.
Right.
So initially my mother wanted me to become a nursing person or become a doctor, but
I love
like
that.
every Asian,
I love that for the Filipino mom. Yes.
Right. And my dad told me, just get your education.
Okay.
He didn't really specify what I should get my education in. So luckily, like they were pretty supportive with me. I mean, I told my mom one day, like, Mom, I'm a communication major. Yeah. And she was like, what is communication? Like, what is that?
Oh my gosh, we're very similar.
Yeah.
My dad was just like, just get a degree. I'm like, the tiger Asian mom is like my mom told me to do business. And I was like, if I do business, it's not going to be good. I'm probably going to fail everything.
Right.
And when I said communication, she's like, so what are you going to do with that? Yeah. So I totally understand what you're talking about.
Yeah. I think for me, when I have met people who are a communication major, some people I've met, they are in there because it's the easiest route,
right?
Which I totally get, and because they just couldn't figure out what they wanted to do and all, and they feel like just like communicating is just the easy route. Of course, for me it was really different. So like when I finally did figure out what I wanted to do, and I had that whole identity crisis thing, I stumbled upon PR and advertising things. So, and like I remember like how passionate I was about that kind of stuff. Like growing up, I was passionate about performing arts and all, but I love advertising things.
Okay.
I love advertising shows. I remember when I was younger, I would make these dance shows with my cousins. And I was in charge, of course, of everything. I was in charge of costuming. I was in charge of like when the show was going to be. I was in charge of
director, casting director, choreography.
Yes, director, please. I would love that job. But I don't know, like I loved all of those things, choreography and all. But what really drew me is the whole idea of selling yourself to an audience. So I would like make fake tickets.
I love that.
I will call my parents like, "Hey, mom, this is like a reminder that we have a show." La 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 la. I will like take pictures and make sure everybody's like they look nice. And I didn't realize that was all PR. I didn't realize, at least a part of PR. It's not the whole scheme of PR, but a part of it. And so thinking back, I was like, oh my gosh, like that's something I want to do. So that's communications right there.
True.
And then the reason why so right now, sorry, I didn't really mention, right now I am a double major in psychology and communication. For me, I've always been interested in psychology. I think there's like this thing that just people think like, oh, if you're a communication or psychology major, you're just doing the the easiest majors in
psychology
college.
Is not easy.
Psychology is not easy, but it is technically the easiest social science, maybe with sociology. But psychology is one of the easier ones. And I just love, I think from a younger age, I love connecting with people and understanding them. And I think throughout my high school years and experience, I always wanted to know why did my friends did the things they did, or why did they decide certain things,
right? Why are people the way they are?
And so I wanted to see, okay, if I combine communication and psychology, where would that take me career wise? And the first thing came up was public relations, advertising, communication manager stuff, which is what I wanted to kind of do, but it was something that I'm passionate about that, but I don't think I'm good at it. And so, and I was wondering, well, how is psychology connected to PR? But PR,
because you're trying to get people to do something, so you have to know how the mind works.
Definitely, and like for me, like I like advertising definitely, but I like it when you have a relationship with the people. Okay. The whole idea of take for instance, if you have like, for me, like I want to go into a theater, but like PR kind of theater. I want to have these connections with different organizations and different clients in the community, so that we will continue building this relationship, so that our I guess our brand will sustain itself. Because
he's gonna revive the performing arts in our town.
I mean, I think Hilo is doing a fabulous job right now. I mean, I think in Hawaii in general, like Hilo has been overlooked for a while. But we have so much to offer.
Agreed.
But a lot of it has not been showcased, have been put out as PR and advertising stuff. I mean, I haven't seen Evita, the show that you guys are on, right? But I heard so many good things about that show. I heard, and there was Rent, and there was, of course, Aladdin, and there was like Biloxi Blues. And of course, I'm just listening to things that I was in. Of course,
that were amazing.
Thank you. But not only those, but there are shows with like like high schoolers. Hilo High School, they have a lot of good shows. I came from Kamehameha schools, and we put on amazing Hawaiian operas.
Oh my gosh. For such a time as this?
Was it?
No, that was the one, right?
No, that was not the one.
No.
For such a time as this
was the one we did. No. On this island.
So Once on This Island.
On This Island.
It's not one of them, actually. So we do.
Oh, the Hawaiian opera!
Yes.
I just realized. Oh my god, the one that like went to.
Yes. So
yeah,
the one you're talking about, the ones on this island, right? Those are like our fall musicals. But yeah, Kamehameha schools, we put on these all school production of Hawaiian
and you traveled
opera.
to Europe.
We did actually. The school took 2 groups. I was a part of the first group, and they recently just took the second group. And we just took these Hawaiian operas where everything was entirely in Hawaiian. And of course, like the talent and the passion was there. But what I loved about it was the PR.
Yes.
I remember being a part of my show, and I would just advertise. When I was in senior year, we had this Hawaiian rock opera.
Yes.
And I asked, I begged the administration if I could be, I could do a promo video for the show.
Okay.
Because we were lacking that for so many years.
Right.
And I felt like the video that I made really brought in more people and showcased what we were about, and not only the show itself, but the establishment of Kamehameha schools and what we stand for. And that is what I want for PR, for theater. So sorry, I went on a tangent, but
no, you're good. You're good.
But basically, yeah, I mean that's where I am now. I'm on a track to go into PR, and for UH Chilo, we don't have a lot of opportunities in PR.
Yeah.
At least practical, but I'm taking every advantage I can. I'm learning as much as I can.
Right.
There's things like intercultural communication. There's things like abnormal psychology that might not really be very beneficial in PR.
Right.
But you never know.
Yeah.
Because getting a BA or an MA, any arts bachelor's or master of arts degree is very well-rounded, and it helps you become a better person, not only in general but in your career. And I really feel like these 2 majors will actually help me to do that. Yeah. For
sure. Especially I think that career that you're talking about, PR.
Yeah.
Psychology and communications is honestly like the perfect combination in my mind for that option.
Yeah. And so how about you? Like about communications, like what was your journey like?
So I was actually an English major at first because I was like, I'm going to be an English teacher. I love English. It's super chill. I love kids. So teacher, English, good job. Sounds good. My first semester, I took an English class, literally English 100. I had to write a 12-page paper, and I said, this is not the major for me. Like, I can't do this forever. So then I was going through a crisis because I was like, what am I going to major in? I have to get my education. I have to get a degree. Oh my gosh, I don't want to do something I hate. I don't want to fail because you're paying so much money for it. And then someone was like, Mary, you like love talking. You need to be a communications major. And I was like, what is that? And they explained it to me, and I was like, that's everything I love. And I took all those classes, and I was like seriously obsessed with my major, which is why sometimes I'm like, did I make the right decision? Right. But when I look back in college and I looked at all the people who like literally looked like they were dying and hated their majors and just every day didn't know why they were there and always thought about like dropping out and quitting. I was like, I love my major. I love going to class and like learning about all the different things that it had to offer. Right. And sure, like I'm not going to be a doctor. I didn't have a career like lined up straight away, or it's not like a particular set thing, but I really enjoyed it, and I think it helped me as a person, like you were saying. Yes. And even though like what I do now doesn't necessarily count as like a communications job, communications helps in everything.
Definitely, yeah.
Because no matter what you do in life, you're going to end up talking to people. And how you get your messages across, and if they truly like understand you and do you understand them, is something that honestly not a lot of people can do. And it's fascinating.
It's very fascinating. I mean, I think it's really, communications and the people who are majoring that, like we are looked upon as like I don't know.
Oh, they're just having fun.
Yeah.
It's chill.
It's very chill. Like they're just paying a lot of money for a chill degree. But I believe it takes a time to develop your communication skills, and not only that, but also the knowledge behind communication, what you're saying. And I believe when you go into the workforce, you can still learn skills.
Yes,
right.
Always.
You can be a communication graduate, and in a couple of years, if you're passionate about what you're doing and what the job you're doing, you can become a director, or I think like a director of communications. You can you can even be a human resource, like an HR kind of person.
Yeah.
Like there are different fields, and the reason why, and I believe the reason why they got that high in their job is because of the communication skills, because they have those knowledge to get them above and beyond, right? So I do really understand that. Yeah, you brought up a really good point about that. So yeah, and now when we're talking about STEM,
right,
and our friends in STEM, like what was your like maybe kind of like brush more into it a little bit on like your experience with your friends who were in STEM and how inadequate you felt? Like, what was that?
No,
like?
definitely. Just because I'm like, they're going to make so much more money than me. They already have jobs lined up, because it kind of just, when you're in those majors, it's like, you obviously have to do clinicals. You have to start being in your field as you're getting your degree.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like when you get out of college and have your degree, it's like, oh, I already have a little bit of experience, or I know my job is this. Like, for example, like what we've been saying with communications, you can do HR, you can direct, you can do PR, you can do all these different things. It's not set.
Right.
Versus if you major in nursing, you're going to be a nurse.
Yes.
And that's it,
right.
Yeah. So I was really like, wow, they are going to do what they're doing. Right. They're going to make so much money. And I don't know. It's just like, I feel like society has embedded in us, like, STEM is great, like that, like it's also like you're told that's what smart is,
right?
Yes. And it's like, I agree, obviously the people in those majors, I could never do what they do, and I agree they're so intelligent, but at the same time, why do we have to push those other majors down, like the social sciences, performing arts? Because we are really smart, we're just smart in different ways.
Yeah, definitely. And the whole, like how you said about our pathways, right, are very different. When you're a nursing major, you're gonna become a nurse. If you're going into business, obviously you're going to business, right? Astronomy, of course, definitely. But I think what's so, I guess, fulfilling, but so exciting about our pathway as a communication major,
right,
is that we have so much, like, we can do choices. Yeah. It's exciting because yes, we might not have like so many amazing skills, but the opportunities are endless,
right,
when it comes to it. I mean, we can even work in the food industry, and it might be so fulfilling for us. Like, it's so weird, this whole thing about like our paths and where we need to go, and
what we need to be,
and the majors that we need to take. And I don't think everything is set in stone, because I feel like, yeah, you can be a STEM major, right? But just think, maybe 20 years from now, are you gonna really continue going into that pathway, that career choice, or will you want to change? Because I know for me, I want some flexibility.
Right.
I mean, I always tell my friends this, that if PR doesn't work, I will go back to school and go for counseling psychology.
Yeah.
Because I like talking to people. I like helping people and all. I have so many options, and I'm excited for my future. It might take a lot of energy and a lot of effort to do that, compared to my friends who are in STEM, who will definitely get a job.
Right.
I actually need to work for it, but it's so exciting because you're working for something that you really want.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I honestly feel like there could be a part 2 to this. Like, I feel like we could just talk about this topic forever.
Definitely. We have there's so much that we can talk about. This, like, imposter syndrome would be one, definitely.
Yes. I feel like we could talk about that for like kind of a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many layers to it as well.
Yeah.
But guys, if you're listening to this, what I want you guys to take away from this is that no major is like better, quotation marks, than the other. All majors are great, amazing, as long as you're passionate about it and you love it and you are going to do something with it that's going to make you happy. Like, go for it. Whether it's STEM, whether it's performing arts, just do what you're passionate about, not just because you think it's going to look good. Because if you do something that you're not passionate about, you're going to end up hating it, and then you're wasting time, money, happiness. So yes.
Right. Yes.
Hiapo, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I'm very excited for all these episodes to come.
Of course.
Will you sign us off?
Mahalo nui loa for listening to Marysaystosmile podcast. We hope you enjoyed this very much. If you liked our content, if you like the topics that we discussed, please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you on the next episode. Mwah. Hi there. That was an episode of Marysaystosmile.
Please like, share, review, and subscribe. Basically, however you're listening to this podcast. Also, I've made an email for you guys to send questions or topics that you would like for me to discuss/talk about. It's going to be himarysaystosmile@gmail.com. One more time, himarysaystosmile@gmail.com. Anyways, I hope you have the most amazing day. Bye!